The inquiry was looking at zonal taxation arrangements that could take place within New South Wales, looking at driving business and jobs growth throughout regional New South Wales, separating, if you like, the Greater Sydney area to the rest of, and therefore the regional parts of New South Wales. The inquiry started off by calling submissions. The inquiry looked at those submissions. It made a preliminary report. It particularly then focused on payroll tax and stamp duty, and then it called back to the stakeholders who made an inquiry and to the general public to further make some form of comments and suggestions, particularly around the payroll tax and stamp duty areas. We held a public hearing and we heard from stakeholders all throughout New South Wales, including people from Albury, Tweed, Broken Hill, the Mid-North Coast, whether it be in person or by teleconference. So we got a very wide-ranging set of views and opinions and experiences from all across New South Wales. Well, it became very clear through the evidence from stakeholders that, and it's probably saying what we already know, and that is that the infrastructure pressures and the economic activity in Sydney is bursting at the seams, and what we need to do is try and encourage a wider spread of economic growth, and of course regional New South Wales is the optimum place to do that, to be able to take some of the pressure off the Greater Sydney area. The input from stakeholders was quite wide and varied, and it was very important in going to making up the final recommendations, if you like, of the committee. One of them being a 12-month exemption on payroll tax for businesses that may relocate from the Greater Sydney area or interstate or indeed internationally to be able to relocate into New South Wales. Also an increase in the threshold of payroll tax up to $1 million before payroll tax was payable, and looking at that in 2022 to potentially increase to $2 million as a threshold. In addition to that, it also looked at the stamp duty exemptions for the purchase of commercial and/or industrial property for people relocating outside of Greater Sydney or indeed from interstate or again international, and giving stamp duty exemptions in order to be able to provide a lower upfront cost of setting up the business, and of course in conjunction with the lower payroll tax that would have to be paid, giving a lower cost of doing business into the long term and therefore creating jobs. Also, we considered that making a recommendation, and we did, that the New South Wales Government consider stamp duty exemption in particular for young farmers who are buying their first farm. Well, should the government take up those recommendations, we believe that it'll take a lot of the population and infrastructure pressure off Sydney and take advantage of the opportunities that lay within regional New South Wales in economic growth, services to our towns and villages, and importantly, jobs. The whole aim is to keep New South Wales #1.